Hey everybody, it's Draven. I took most of the month of January off to kind of think and consider what I want my magical practice to look like in the coming year. But to know where I'm going, I kind of have to touch on where I've been, I think. So, 2024, I went back to the very beginning elements of my practice. I started out working with energy, creating things with it, energy balls, energy discs, and moved into passing energy back and forth with my wife and son as they were willing and thought it was interesting. So I spent a lot of time just doing that, playing with it and having fun interacting with energy again. And I ended up working quite a bit of the spring and summer with the elemental water. This led me to the realization that I have some pretty severe gaps in my magical practice where I haven't worked with some elements where I should have, and I'm not as strong in working with them. Water and air being two of them, which air is very weird that I don't work with it more, or at least I don't see it because I love to learn, I love to create. Maybe I just need to reframe my relationship with it. And this leads me to my 2025 plans and what I want to do. So, I've dabbled with sigil making before. I've dabbled in learning the runes a little bit. I want to brush up on my rune knowledge, get a secure foundation, and then bring that into using the runes in the creation of sigils. I also want to learn more occult symbols and why they are what they are, and see if I can't incorporate them into sigils as well as other occult pieces of artwork. I feel this is going to be a year-long journey, and I also want to deepen my relationships with spirit, whether they're ancestral, deific, or dragon or elemental. I didn't do much work with the spirits in the last year because I had a lot going on in my personal life, and I want to get back to working with my ancestors, maybe work more with the wandering spirits of children, help them prepare to cross over. I also was introduced to a new deity to me named Sashet. She is the partner of Thoth, who I have worked with a little bit before, and Sashet seemed very, very interested in working with me. So I'm going to learn what I can about her and start a relationship and see what we can learn from each other. I want to deepen my relationship with the Morrigan and Thor, as well as Odin. And if she wants a relationship, hell, because she does seem to hang around with me quite a bit. It's going to be an interesting year, and I wanted to take steps to evolve my channel a little bit, but I couldn't figure out how to set up the new microphone system or anything like that, so we'll definitely be working on that and maybe getting into some video editing, which I said I wasn't going to do at the start of the channel, but I realized it doesn't seem to be that hard. I have other projects with some friends that may be taking off, and I hope that it takes off because it's going to be very fun, very interesting. More information on that will come. But the sigils I partly want to get into because they can be very powerful, very concise pieces of magic. They can be protective. They can help give inspiration. They can be used for increase in abundance. And there's different symbols, and items that have been used in sigils from the time that we took sticks and made things in the dirt. As children, we created different figures and symbols, not really thinking about it, but they meant something to us even then. So it's intrinsic human knowledge, I think, to create things and have them have a specific meaning. So I'm going to see what I can create and what I can put into them, learn how to put energy into the sigils, get them to manifest or make them, keep them charged. The spirits thing, well, I feel like I need to work more with my great-great-grandfather and learn what I can from him, because a lot of old knowledge has kind of been lost on my father's side of the family. And I'm going to try to convince the spirit Sarah that's been hanging out with me for my whole pagan and witchcraft journey to tell me more about my mother's family, because I found out who she is in relation to me. She lived in the early 1800s and lived into her 40s. She tried to be secretive and coy about it until I absolutely tracked down who she was and how she was tied to me. And then the dragons. They've been around me for almost as long as I've been practicing, that I've been aware of, but they were there before. And it's a relationship that I've just kind of taken for granted that it's there. And well, that's not the best way to keep a relationship, is it? You've got to interact with them, you've got to work with them, you've got to communicate. And there are some bridges that I need to strengthen. There are relationships that I need to build. We each have a different role in the spiritual ecosystem, and I had a role that I'd kind of stepped back from, and I need to pick it up again. I'm needed to do those things in the spiritual world in my environment, and I'm also needed to do things in the physical environment. So I don't know what magical path or systems I'm going to kind of look into this year. But for now, I think I have a lot laid out and a lot of potential for things to look up and get into. I may even dip back into Druidry, which was my first system, after deciding, yeah, I'm pagan and it sounds good to me. And see if I can't find something that feels like it has a bit more teeth within Druidry. Or see if there's a system in Norse magic somewhat similar to Druidry, because those systems seem to have a bit more aggression and teeth on them. But it's going to be an interesting year. So what does everybody kind of have on their plates for 2025, and what do you feel like you may be getting into this year? Till next time, thank you for hanging out. Look out for each other. May your gods and ancestors look out